Tonight on the Squatchers Lounge podcast, the Reverend Jeff and David start off Season 3 with a bang, as the entire Bigfoot community at large seems to burn itself to the ground. We explore just how weird things are gonna get, how weird they've gotten, and announce a new segment series of the show, Mystery Hominids from Around the World. This should be a good one, folks. So without further ado, I give to you the man with the insider info and a charming smile, the Reverend Jeff Kelly.
The charming smile is about all I've got left. My dignity has left the building. Welcome, everybody, back to the Squatchers Lounge podcast. And that's right, we're starting off Season 3 with a bang! That's right. Put your earphones on, people, because you really need to hear what's going on out there. There's a bunch of screwballs just trying to just get to the bottom of all this mess. And old Reverend Jeff here's got some exclusive information that's probably going to piss a bunch of you people off out there. But let's find out. With me, as always, is again this season is Father David Batdorf, the greatest announcer man in podcast history. How you doing, buddy?
Fantastical. I'm excited for this episode because of the new topic that we're going to take on for, bits and pieces of this year, and because in 2015 we've seen a lot, all last year we called out all the BS, and in the first 7 days of 2015, oh my God.
It's sad. It's sickening. It's an illness that's in the community, and we're going to get right down to the middle of it. Well, let's get it out there. Let's start it off. I know you people don't like this kind of stuff, but you know what? It's scary. In the community here, everybody knows who M.K. Davis is. Now, M.K. Davis is kind of, he's cut everybody off. He's taken a bunch of Bigfoot people out of his profile, and people, dumped about a bunch of friends, and people start to worry when that kind of thing happens, because people that commit suicide do that kind of stuff. So they started asking him what's going on, and, well, M.K. had this to say in public about it. He said, well, intimidating PMs and a threat on my life by Bob Gimlin. Nothing you guys have done. Now, say what? Well, now, M.K. Davis, now we know that you're a fan of the massacre theory, and, we know that Bob Gimlin is not a fan of the massacre theory, but I can't imagine, the gentle soul of Bob Gimlin giving anybody a threat on their life. I mean, I could see him maybe saying, I'll punch you in the mouth if you keep talking crap about me, but I wouldn't really call that a threat on my life, would you?
I can't even imagine Bob Gimlin doing that. He is like the ultimate, gentleman cowboy. With but at the same time, I mean, you'd have to do a lot to that guy.
Look at the response.
I only met him once, but it was I can't see a threat, but I've been wrong before.
And look at the responses of some of these high-profile people. You got Michael Merchant, of whatever the heck he's trying to run now with Project Doofus. Best of luck, MK, and many others do appreciate the long. What? No question about Bob Gimlin's credibility here? No, explain yourself? We'll just take your word on it, MK. Yeah, we're sure Bob gave you a death threat, buddy, there. I mean, what the hell is wrong with these people that will just allow them to throw crap out there that some dude made a death threat without any kind of supporting evidence? And yeah, Michael Merchant, buddy. Thanks, pal. Best of luck, buddy. I hope the next time you run into Bob Gimlin, Michael, that you make sure that you let him know that he support M.K. Davis's idea that Bob somehow wants him dead. Truth and Bigfooting. That's what the Zen of the Yeti people are all about, right?
Apparently.
Crap on a cracker.
On one point that M.K. Davis has put a lot out there.
Yes, M.K. Davis.
Way out there.
Yeah, he swears there's a clan of Bigfoot that Patterson and Gimlin murdered and slaughtered and buried out there in Bluff Creek, where, well, of course, none of that actually happened. He never actually even found the original film site to make such a claim. He dug in the sandbar down about a half a mile away and claimed to make all these findings. But, that's what crazy people do. I'm not saying the man's insane. I'm just saying he's making crazy statements and has for a very long time. Oh, dude, that's the least of it. If y'all think that is just crazy, that's the least of what's going on. Okay, so apparently, this I don't even know what to call him at this point. A podcast host has been running around just pissing a bunch of people off, talking about they interviewed Rick Dyer and they're gonna put up an interview on Afterthoughts or After something or other. I never, the show hasn't had a show in like 6 months, so I don't even know what to call it anymore. But the truth of the matter is basically there was a public hangout and Rick Dyer was in it. And a bunch of people went in there, and they just decided to record it, and we're thinking about releasing it as an interview of such. I'm not even sure of the legality of something like that, let alone to admit that I did it in public. But just to give a greaseball, just to give a greasy little prick like Rick Dyer a moment's thought to give him airtime for a platform to lie or dupe more people is just despicable, and it really should not be tolerated by our community. What are your thoughts on something like that, David?
I'm pretty sure that if Rick Dyer asked to come on this show, we might let him. But probably not in the capacity that the interview, and we probably let him go soon after that, just on air, tell him how we feel.
But I'd give him 30 seconds of "fuck you," and then we'll be right on our program. Excuse my French.
But again, it's a why would you do that for publicity when this guy is obviously, I mean, he's the king of carnivals, and I don't understand why anybody aligns themselves with that guy. The people that have blow my mind. The people that continue to do things in accordance with and with this person or using this person's name, it drives me insane. Because
Carnival Sideshow 101. There you go.
He's making a name for himself by making fun of us and also making money off of us, defrauding us from money. Like, it's so many different ways. This guy is just a douche.
Yeah, douche deluxe. The biggest douche in the field of Bigfootery is this guy right here. And we used to not talk about him, but we came to a new conclusion here on the show. Instead of fighting our special little friends, well, we're just going to recognize them as our special helmet-eating little friends, and when they come into the community, we'll just treat them. Oh, Ricky, it's our special friend Ricky, and he wants to come play in the Bigfoot community again. Here's your helmet. So that you don't hurt yourself or hurt anybody else, we've decided that we're just going to do that. We're going to issue helmets to people. However, this is not even the most despicable thing going on in the Bigfoot world right now.
Okay, the balding faux hawk and plastic Bigfoot is not the most despicable thing.
But wait, there's more. As I promised, we're gonna. I'm in communication with just every level of the Bigfoot community you can imagine, from the top to the bottom. The little squatchers. I talk to everybody because I love everybody. And a little birdie comes across and tells me that there's going to be another Skunk conference in March in Florida, being hosted by none other than Stacy Brown Jr. Well, it was a bit of a controversy here last month or a month before when Todd Standing showed up at the Sasquatch Summit out there in Washington. Well, apparently the lineup for the Florida Skunk Ape Conference is going to be Derek Randles, Justin Smeha, and Rick Dyer. That's right. Stacy Brown Jr. is going to invite Rick Dyer to come on down to the Skunk Ape Conference and be a presenter of whatever it is that you want to present on the stage of Bigfoot proper. What the hell is wrong with you people?
It blows my freaking mind.
I really don't know how to respond to that. It sickens me. However, just in the way that we're going about season 3, Stacy has now been awarded the very first ever Squatchers Lounge podcast Padded Helmet Award. I was going to give it to the people at Afterthoughts, but apparently, Stacy, you're just that much dumber. I think we're going to have to give you a padded helmet every time you come into the Bigfoot community from now on. If you think inviting Rick Dyer is a good idea to be standing on the stage with other researchers, you, sir, must wear a padded helmet when you come in and have any dealings with the Bigfoot community from here on out.
Not even hurting anyone else necessarily. Hurting yourself is what you're doing at this point, so you need the padded helmet.
The Padded Helmet Award, first one in 2015, goes to Stacy Brown Jr. Congratulations, young man. You have gone from possible Bigfoot witness to complete moron in one season. Yay, you. I don't know what else to say about that. Mark my words, people. It's been said on the 7th of January before you heard it anywhere else. That's what's going on. Now, if it doesn't happen, I'll claim victory and say on the rest of you. But trust me, it's in the works.
I just want to know what the hell Rick Dyer has to add to a Bigfoot or Skunk Ape conference.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. However, David, but wait, there's more.
More?
So you couldn't think that that would be the most despicable thing in one show. In the first 14 minutes of our season 3, we've already listed up 4 just embarrassingly bad stories about this community.
In the first 6 or 7 days of 2015.
There's more. Let me go ahead and give you a little screen share here. And we don't share this particular website, but in this particular case, this is what they've got going on. It appears that J.C. Johnson of the Crypto Four Corners, he's announced a new faction, and they've been formed to conduct a new Bigfoot genome study. Well, Johnson, along with other participants in the study, still believe that the results of the previous Melba Ketchum study are correct, and they hope that the results of this new project will vindicate those findings. So they're already going in with a predetermined conclusion. That's what they're looking to match. Don't really think they're going to have a hard time doing it. However, that's not where the fuckiness comes into this. Regardless of the outcome, the group claims that they'll accept the results. The group has enlisted the assistance of Dr. Christopher from the anthropology department at the University of New Mexico. And once the samples are collected, they're going to be sent to who? That's right, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, who's agreed to oversee the study that involves Dr. Melba Ketchum. Are you kidding me? Does this guy just friggin' jump from one set of money to the next set of money? Is that all that's necessary to get Dr. Meldrum on board with this? I mean, you yourself, sir, said that she was a hack. Now all of a sudden you're getting in bed with her because there's some money to be made here?
I have no idea about that. Maybe this was in the works a long time ago to, finally put to bed the Ketchum thing. But, yeah, I mean, Dr. Christopher, that sounds like, well, I'm not a real doctor, but I do play one on TV. Right. I'm not sure what that's all about, but I'm sure Dr. Christopher is an actual person. He has an actual PhD. That's fine. In anthropology, okay, I would love to talk to the guy, but whatever. Dr. Christopher is the go-between between J.C. Johnson, who was involved in the Ketchum study, and Dr. Meldrum, who poo-pooed on the Ketchum study to do what?
I don't know. I haven't figured out what they need an anthropological professor for yet. I'm kind of confused.
Oh, wait. There's more. There's going to be more. We don't even know. Like, none of the articles I've read have said anything about a documentary, but you can be assured
someone's paying for it.
Somebody's paying for it, and they ain't doing it for free, just for fun. And especially since there is now the pre-leaked, this study is happening. Nobody leaks a study. We've already been through this 5 times, I swear. Nobody leaks information on an exciting new study unless they're doing a media project. And maybe this was in the works long enough ago to where, oh, by the way, we're going to do something to discredit all of your findings. Well, I can assure you that's what's going to happen if they do an actual genome sequence on any of the studies that were done, or like any of the samples that were used in the Ketchum study. If it's done correctly and in a scientific way. It's not going to come to the same findings because she used the word Nephilim, and she also she referenced April Fool's Day like commentary articles in papers, not like in a magazine, not like scientific peer-reviewed literature. Like this is where we're going.
It just makes me want to cry. It really does. It really makes me want to cry. But you know what? There's good news. There's good news. But wait, there's more.
What?
Well, okay, let's just go ahead and get into the whole Turner, Maine Bigfoot thing here. Let's start out with our buddy Bill Brock, the host of Monsters Underground, the guy who likes to let the production company put white lights in his eyeballs while he's crawling around in caves so that maybe he might be able to kill himself. Well, he brought forth this case of the most convincing evidence since the Patterson-Gimlin film. Well, we said it when it first came out that it was a hoax of a couple of kids pulling your leg, but no, you got to go ahead and get the news involved too. So let's go ahead and take a look at this article. They've got this great big footprint here, which isn't even part of the case. It doesn't have anything to do with it. Basically, what it all turned out to be were these two punk kids pulling Bill Brock's leg, and he was too retarded to call the investigation. Instead, he makes a media attention grab out of it and tells the rest of us that we just need to wait to be sure that it's not a Bigfoot. I think 4 days ago I told you people it wasn't a Bigfoot. I even described the clothing that the kid was wearing in the original film. And come down to it, our buddy over at Prayer Breakdown, we're sitting here looking at Bill Brock's, original footage coming across it now. And there you have it, folks. Brown jacket, dark jeans, black hat, and gloves, just like I called it. Okay, the guy on the right is the fake. The guy on the left is the recreation. It looks exactly the same, and it's a bunch of crap. But thanks to Phil for at least following through and getting the footage and doing your breakdown that you contacted Bill Brock for in the first place. What are you thinking, David? Are we ready to jump ship yet, buddy?
I do love Phil for getting down to the dirty work that needs to be done. Thank you, Phil Pauling, Para Breakdown. You are the man. But here's the thing. Like, I don't think that Bill Brock was fooled. I think that this was a perfect opportunity for a grab at attention. So why not? I mean, why not?
Well, why not is because he claims to be a Bigfoot investigator. He claims to be a Bigfoot researcher, not a media whore, not a TV host. Got to pick one or the other. If you want us to believe you as a Bigfoot researcher, you can't pull bullshit like this and expect us to believe you ever again, because as far as I'm concerned, anything you bring from the table from here on out is TV crap, and we're going to treat it as TV crap. In fact, you too might get a padded helmet award. Let's just see how things go.
So this might be also wait, in the last 7 days, what the fuck? What's going on?
But wait,
going crazy. And
but wait,
Skunk Ape with the stripe. I see what you did there. That's pretty funny.
But wait, there's more. The Skunk Ape with the stripe, dude. Seriously, the fisherman in Florida comes across this thing in the swamp, takes a bunch of pictures of it, uploads them to the internet, and boom, we got a skunk ape. These are actually the pictures the dude took. They're from far away. You really can't see what this thing is. This guy's floating around fishing for gar in the swamp in a boat. He goes by, he's taking pictures of the wildlife, and snip, snip, snip. This is what he gets. He goes home, and anybody who owns Photoshop will tell you it takes over everything. So when his camera is they import into Photoshop, he saves the pictures, and voila, they've got a Photoshop stamp on them. He swears he didn't do any cropping or anything to them, and I don't think that he did. I actually got a quote from our friend, of course, Doug Hudson, over from CloneFX. That's KLONEFX.com. He says it's a cheap gorilla bust with fun fur and some goofy taxidermy dyes. It's just ridiculously bad. It's probably in the water and was left there for something like this to happen. It's like $50 worth of fun fur and whatever the gorilla bus cost.
It's yeah, but the line, the skunk ape thing, like it's so damn literal. It's funny.
It's awesome. I do. I totally agree about that. Now, I did hear little rumblings in the community, and God only knows, people make up crap all the time, so it could be absolutely false. But somebody had said that there was a swamp tour in the area that was guaranteeing seeing a skunk ape on the tour. And this all could have been a viral campaign ad to get attention for something like that in the area. People start searching for skunk ape, the tour comes up, and bam! Millions of dollars worth of free advertising.
Boom, Huffington Post. Like, I've seen this on a bunch of different, like, you know, larger media circuits. Like, Gizmodo picked it up. Yeah, it's crazy. So, I mean, why not? You know, get some tourism, get a little bump out of this. Yeah, No, it looks like a gorilla, and you know what a gorilla is? A gorilla. You know what a gorilla is not?
A swamp creature. Yeah.
Yeah, a swamp creature at all. That looks exactly like a gorilla. And a gorilla is very specialized and adapted to look like a gorilla because it's a fucking gorilla.
Oh, it's so friggin' angry. But wait! There's more. Look at this crap, dude. The DOT picture cams. Could this be a family of Bigfoot spotted on the highway in Arizona? No, it couldn't be. We said it wasn't then, but dude, this story blew up nationwide. I had friends from all over the country send me links from their different affiliates to this story. I mean, it was a blast. I heard Steve Alcorn pulled 120,000 plus views off of his breakdown of this thing, and it turns out I just saw the 40 and slip go up. They have the comparison picture of it from the spring, and of course it is indeed just a bunch of shrubs on the side of the road. So, what is wrong with these news outlets?
They're doing the same thing. Like, I can blame Rick Dyer because he's an individual. I can't blame like the news outlets because that's what I mean. They have to have interest. They have to have intrigue, and they have to have some, you know, funny stories like this. I guess that maybe that's what they're going for. But
it makes us all look like clowns.
All you have to do is go to the DOT website and look back a day or two, because they have other pictures there, like Steve Alcorn did. You know, thank you, Steve. Thank you, and may that go viral 1,000,000 times. But
that's the problem with it. They never do. The real conclusion or the breakdowns never get as far out there as the actual initial story.
Oh, by the way, those are there yesterday. They're the day before that. They're a week before that, and they're months before that. Oh, they're in the spring too. Great. Yeah, it's all the same thing there. And somebody might have caught it and like, oh, this would be a funny thing to put out there. It's yeah. Editorializing is okay in the media, but when a person does it, you know, so I don't blame the media for doing that because it's funny and it gets views and it, like they're an advertising firm with data, like not even data, like with news stories, which are.
But you would have think maybe the Arizona DOT may have come forward and said, "What are you people talking about? That's the shrubs on turn 5 of this road system like days ago."
Like, shit, we get hits on our site, and maybe we have ads on there too. I don't know. Like, come on.
They're all selling ads on that stuff. That's crazy too. You're right. Well, let's get out of all the crap that's fake, and let's talk about some cool things that actually went on this week. Dude, this week in Bigfoot history from the Bigfoot Lunch Club, we love Guy Edwards. He is like the coolest. I hear Guy Edwards is a hell of a guy. I really do. Well, one of the things
I can both confirm and deny, just because I like to be argumentative, that Guy Edwards is in fact a hell of a guy.
The Oliver the Chimp story, the old circus chimp, there was some debate that he wasn't really a chimp, that he was some kind of a hybrid because he had odd looks and he walked upright like people do and had some really strange habits, and there was an actual documentary done about him, and this week in history his DNA came back and said, nope, just a chimp. Really smart one, but just a chimp, all the same. You know, so no matter how even overstretched they go, Oliver the chimp is still just a chimp. But he's still a cool, fun story to talk about. I love watching the documentary, the way he walks around, looks at the camera, snarls at it. That's the one that we always get Bigfoot caught on CCC TV. You know, it's like, no, that's Oliver the chimp. I saw that documentary a bunch of times. The Humanzi, you remember it?
The Humanzi, I do, and like kind of a little bit of sad story. It's a little bit of body modification to make him look more human. They taught him to walk upright. He enjoyed it, whatever. Like that's his bag. That's his bag. Whatever. But yeah, definitely not living the life of a chimpanzee. We'll put it that way.
No, definitely not. But, hey, that's definitely a cool story that came out of there. But talking about the Bigfoot Lunch Club, they got a casting call, dude. Are you kidding me? Another cryptid show is looking for a cryptozoological expert, whatever the hell that is, experienced in the outdoors, preferably with a background leading groups or expeditions. Must be charismatic, adventurous, and well-spoken with a deep knowledge of cryptozoological bullshit. I mean, cryptid hunting. They're also looking for a paranormal hunting expert, too. Not sure if this is hunting ghost squatch, but, you know, apparently they're looking for another cast. Hey, Bill Brock, here's your opportunity. Did you put your name in for this one?
I'm sure Bill Brock did. I did not, but I mean, really, Jeff, are they really? They're asking us directly.
Yeah, I guess they are looking for me specifically. I mean, it describes me to a T, but yeah, no, I don't think they can pay me enough, to be honest with you. Monstershowcasting@gmail.com is the email address that you can get to there. And, you know, put your name in the project, see what happens.
Yeah, I won't be doing that.
Yeah, me neither. Next up, guys, is the Parrot Project. Now, these are our friends down there in they're in Lower Washington. Let's just put it that way. They've got themselves a drone. Sarah and John Brown and the Brown Project, they've now got the Parrot Project going, and they're learning to fly this stupid thing. Drones are really cool. One of the things that I noticed with the GoPro flying drones is they're blurry in motion. And this thing is not. If you look at it, man, she's jerking it back and forth and up and down. And this thing's taking some pretty damn good HD footage even in flight. And that's always been one of my criticisms of the drones that are out there. This one's got a built-in camera. It's not a carrying load capacity. But, you know, as long as it's taking HD footage, who cares?
Exactly. Like that's one of those things. I don't know if a drone is going to really get you wildlife biology, like, you know, you're not going to do planet Earth with a drone, but you can do some really good shots and you can do some really good sweeps. And if you're doing that really slow in an area where you thought there was something that you really needed to see, or even just getting up and surveying the area, it's a good tool. And I wish I had this kind of thing at my disposal, but whatever.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. You know, the podcast will grow far enough for us to get into the bigger equipment like that. But what's neat about it is this one will actually run a sortie. You can actually program in GPS coordinates to it, set it off, and it'll just run that circuit and come back and land, and then you have your footage. So you could actually take it out there at different times of the day, set it loose and let it fly its course and catch what you catch. You never know what's going to come down off of the mountain at any given time.
Well, exactly. You don't know exactly where and when things are going to be, but getting up there and around like quickly and somewhat discreetly, apparently.
They're pretty quiet. They really are. I mean, I was surprised at how quiet they were once they got 100 feet in the air.
Something was caught even like slightly out in the open or in particular areas that you're interested in, like you could make out what it was pretty clearly. And then go in for further investigation. So that makes it a really interesting prospect. But yeah, I think we really need to just go, you know, to do it right. All we need is a big ass FLIR in space.
That's right, people. Don't forget about our project coming soon.
The Squatchers Lounge Podcast, $1 billion big ass FLIR in space. Kickstarter coming soon.
Ha! And also tonight, let's go ahead and talk about this for a moment. Let me go ahead and stop that so I don't kill my resources. Dude, this National Geographic article on the chimps Chimp gangs kill to expand their territory. I mean, these guys literally just go out and like beat the crap of the outer lane chimp troops on the edge to increase their own territory. Is just like insane to think about. But could there be a Bigfoot battle like that on the mountain?
Oh, there could be, but it would be like we keep talking about. If we can't find sign of a large troop of Sasquatch roaming through an area, they're probably more. This would be like more the mono e mono. Yeah, more like orangutan-ish. I'm not saying they're going to be completely solitary like an orangutan, but like that alpha male with maybe a couple subordinates, probably children of his, versus one or two or three other individuals versus like a large, battle like these chimps have. And in the Democratic Republic of Congo, like it's not something we film often, but it could be insane. Like usually, like you think of the Planet Earth documentaries, there's a lot of stock footage of them catching and killing and eating like some juveniles who just couldn't get away fast enough. They weren't strong enough to get away. But that sort of like behavior, that warring and like sitting out on a tree and eating the spoils of that.
Right, that's the creepy part of it.
That's pretty unnerving, and those other chimps are going to move on, and they're probably not going to come back into that area because what if those guys are there again?
Right, we already got our ass beat by them once. We're definitely not going to go into that again.
They're not drawing lines on a map, but they are making particular edges of the adjacent troops area really
uncomfortable to live in.
Uncomfortable to be in ever.
Until another bigger, badder one decides that he wants to take it back, and that's usually
they just ate Fred.
That's right. Fred's brother's mad. Well, to finish up the news and the oh my God, let's get it over with tonight. Something good here. Hopsquatch, our buddies over at Hopsquatch, the Bigfoot Lunch Club, and Guy Edwards being a hell of a guy, and our buddy Cliff Barackman, Bigfoot researcher, deluxe, and they're doing the Bigfoot barley wine style air special release party again this year. We always do this in January. Now tomorrow this year it's actually tomorrow, January 8th from 6 to 11. It is free. You must be 21 and up, and it is at the White Owl Social Club at 8th and Main in Southeast Portland. You'll want to give them a call if you don't know how to get there. But yeah, dude, every year the Sierra Nevada Bigfoot Company, they always partner with Hopsquatch. They always partner usually with Cliff Barackman, and they have a big event, and we love them, man. It's Bigfoot beer. Well, how can you go wrong?
I went last year. It was a great time. And if I got off earlier tomorrow, I would probably just head down just for fun. But that's not happening, unfortunately. Next year.
Maybe I'll go with you next year. Maybe then we'll plan that one up to go into it next year. So, guys, with this being season 3 this year, I've actually got a couple of new segments, and I like to really go squatching with this guy, so we figured we'd go ahead and give him a segment on the show this year. So let's go ahead and introduce our buddy Wes, and he's got some information he'd like to share with you.
What's up, everybody? It's your old pal Wes here to share with you rules to squatching. This is for all you noobs joining in that, need to know what to do, what not to do, along with some friendly advice from your old pal Wes. So let's start things off right, and let's do rule number 11. Always find time to practice your wood knocks. Whether you are out on a ball field or your baby boy's circumcision, getting something to eat, there's always somewhere to get your squatch on, just like in this case here. Stay squatchy, my friends.
Well, thanks for that one there, Wes, and we'll look forward to next week's guide to squatching with your old pal Wes. Dude, I love Wes to death, man, and I really hope that we can continue with those because it's so much fun.
I do love them. I've seen a lot of a lot of images on the Squatchers Lounge wall that. Definitely worth time and a chuckle.
Definitely a time and a chuckle. And that's what the lounge is about most of the time. It's, it's like reading your favorite paper more than it is anything else. Well, tonight, guys, it is absolutely getting to be that time.
And now for tonight's topic.
That's right. As we promised, we got a little sick and tired about talking about Bigfoot. And David and I sat down and made a plan this year that we're going to talk about some things else out there that might make a little bit more sense, less sense. Who knows? We're going to kind of give it a thumbs up, thumbs down kind of thing come the end of the night. But we're talking about India's wildman and the Mande Barung. Now, David, what's your exposure to the Mande Barung?
Well, there were some Monster Quest episodes and some other things, and the Monkey Man of India. And the thing for me, like, I just watched a recent documentary, The Wildest India, which is basically a bunch of BBC B stock on, from planet Earth and life and all those other things. So I looking at this area, looking at the idea of there being, a Yeti, like all of these other things, the Mande Barung, like, makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, well, that was one thing that I was looking at. Now, the Mande Barung is basically Little Hairy Man in India. Now, if you don't know anything about India, most of the people that are there, they're either Buddhists or Sikhs, and they don't normally eat, like, a whole lot of things. They don't kill anything. They don't believe in destroying anything. And they're pretty civilized people. I mean, they live in villages. They live in houses. They have communities. They're not like some of the more primitive cultures that we see in, like, the Amazon, the Indian tribes there. We're not talking about those Indians. We're talking about India people, those people that come from a place like this. Now, India's geography is a bit kind of screwy. Now, most of the reports of the Mande Barung come from the edge of the jungle-like or the rainforest type areas. Is that not correct, David?
Correct, and there's a couple names, but the Mande Barung that they were looking for was actually in the northeastern portion, which we can talk about geography in a little bit. But the interesting thing, like, we're talking about the Buddhist gods, it is analogous with, like, the Native American stories, where they didn't have to make shit up. Their gods were rats and monkeys and fish,
right,
and all these things, and then all of a sudden there is a god, or there's this Mande Barung that comes in. Do they make that up? Where was the significance? Was it a long time ago? Is it now? Is it ongoing? Is it something that's going, like, fading into obscurity, like, going extinct? Or what is the thing? But the Monster Quest was talking about some contemporary accounts of the Mande Barung and actually attacking people in cities. It's when it gets hot out, they sleep on the tops of their houses. Like, they have kind of a patio area on the top of these houses in the cities, and people sleep up there, and that's where they're being attacked by the Monkey Man. And Mande Barung actually doesn't mean Monkey Man. Monkey Man's what we call them. That's how they describe them, because they have more monkeys and langurs in India than they do like apes, and they have gibbons as, like, those are the apes that live there, but they don't have the great apes like the gorillas and chimpanzees or humans to kind of, like, bring that together. So that makes sense that they would call it the Monkey Man at some point. But Mande Barung means man of the forest.
Correct. Just like the orang pendek means little man of the woods, the Mande Barung means, man of the forest, and that becomes part of the question. Were the older stories, the ancient stories, were those stories of really literally wild men, looking like me, hairy? I mean, you see me naked, Lord, you'd think I was an ape coming out of the woods and kidnapping people for tribes? Or was this really the slightly less, or the more diverged toe type of creatures? And that's what they're talking about, is they leave the tracks of, like, a diverged ape or monkey more so than a human type track behind.
And I'll be honest, I got a little sidetracked today, and I was trying to bring up some images and things like that. And the Mande Barung, like, the track record is not there as it is in some of these other areas. But the stories that are prevalent, and especially in the rural areas, and there's a couple different particular areas in in India. Let's just bring up the screen share here. I can't do this without the screen share. So if you look at India here, and there's all of this, like, like the dryish areas and the Sundarbans and all that, but there's this low steppe, and the river plains right below, say, Nepal, like all these other, Bhutan.
right below the Himalayan platform.
Yeah, like where Yeti and all of these other cryptids are supposed to be. I mean, here we have there's all these different areas. So there's two major, like, this is showing topography and not cover, basically. But the like this northeastern area where it goes directly up into the Himalayas, like, the Tibetan Plateau, probably not a lot of primates living up there. But there's also this other upwelling on this other side where they don't call them they call them something completely different. This is another deep forest jungle area, but it's so equatorial, you could almost say that it's probably going to be more diminutive, and you make all these statements, but they're seeing creatures up in the same place where on the border of Nepal and Bhutan, where they're also seeing these creatures that they claim to see them, and they're also claiming to see them down in the southern area, which is really interesting. And that would be one of those almost skunk ape ideas where they've been separated for so long by this drying out area, and there's some mountains in here, but this is all a very dry area through the middle, and only during the rainy seasons does it even see water. It's crazy, the rain that happens, down here. But it's an amazing thing. Like, ecologically, like this makes total sense. Geographically, it makes total sense if you think that there's anything to the Nepalese and the Bhutan Yeti stories and all the things they called them up there. This is exactly where they're.
This could actually be the basis for that. I mean, this could be the base animal that actually evolved and moved up into the into the Himalayan areas that could have evolved to survive up there from the lower land type of creature. I mean, the gorilla didn't start out as a gorilla. It started out lower else and moved up there for food availability and changed into the gorilla.
No, but this could potentially be even the same creatures, but culturally there's a different name for them because of the borders and the language barriers, and some of the languages that they go, like, in the dialects that go in between there, because there's a lot of, like, tribal dialect once you get outside of the large cities and whatnot.
That is very true. I was going to say that my friend actually just completed a 3-wheeled rickshaw race through India, and he said that there wasn't it cost him nearly $4,000 in cell phone coverage, and he only made one call, because it just wouldn't keep a cell line long enough to actually make a call. He says communication in India between regions almost never happens. The regions are kind of on their own. So you can see why the same creature in two different regions might be called two different things, but actually be the same species of animal.
Exactly. And even if we're talking about a subspecies issue, like that's... You would think that this is the same thing and this is something potentially different, because the trek across there just wouldn't make any sense that food-wise, you wouldn't want to do that. But anyway, like, I don't think a lot of people really understand how close, the Nepal and the Bhutan and India, and where they say that this Mande Barung comes from. Like, it's all in the same kind of area, and it's fascinating to me. And that's one of the reasons why I still, like, put stock into this whole topic sometimes, with all the BS that we're talking about at the beginning of this show. These are the sort of things that, if you actually look at a map and you actually look at where these things are and the names and the stories, and that there's a contiguous story all the way to, like, the Native Americans in the Pacific Northwest. That's the amazing thing to me, and why I still think that there's hope in this topic, despite all the douchebaggery.
That's right. Despite all the douchebaggery, I agree with you. I totally think that there's hope in this topic. We're not getting off the fact that there are Sasquatch in America. David and I have come to an agreement that he needs to see one to say for sure that they're there. I've seen them, heard them. I've already made that determination. What we're looking at this season is if they're here, are they elsewhere too? And if they are elsewhere, do the claims of where they are Makes sense. In this particular case, what we're looking at is a green region in the direct adjacent areas to other stories that have upright walking bipedal creature stories that go back far longer than what the books are written, and they're still being discovered even today. We got animals coming out of the Congo that are apes, big apes. I mean, so why wouldn't the Mande Barung still be able to be out there, if not even more so than what the American Sasquatch is? What do you think, Dave?
I think that there's a huge potential for something to be hidden in these regions in particular. I mean, you talk about cell phone coverage, you talk about tribal dialect, you talk about the way the story is conveyed doesn't always come out the exact same way, but when there are those similarities, there's that kernel of truth that needs to be explored. Whether or not that kernel of truth is something that it could be. Not even Gigantopithecus, but let's say Australopithecus comes out of the woods like a large ground ape quadruped that's related loosely to an orangutan in that area, and you're like, there it is.
Right. That's all it's going to take.
Or it comes out of the woods, and you're like, holy crap, that's exactly what I imagine the Pacific Northwest Sasquatch to be. But these are the areas that we're slowly going into, and we're slowly learning about the wildlife. And when we discover new species, it's in these crazy remote areas. There's billions of people in India. I don't know if billions is actually correct, but like millions and millions and millions of people.
There's nearly 1 billion people in India now. Yes,
it's crazy, but they're all in those metropolitan areas. And you go out into these tribal areas, and it's still very remote, and there's still large tracts of untainted wilderness, rainforest, mangroves, and everything else. They still have the great hope of the tiger is locked in India. China, it's a sad story, and everywhere else is Siberia. It's a sad story, but in India, it's a problem. And right. That's not a problem for the tiger, and that's the beautiful thing.
Yeah, so, I'm kind of going to give it a thumbs up in my book for the Mande Barung most likely being out there in India. I'm going to continue to kind of take a look at that one. What's your overall statement? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
I'm thumbs up on the Mande Barung. I really like that because it fits. It fits, and I think the Himalayas, like for transitional species, like if there's a bipedal species and it has to move in the areas that that we moved in and all of our ancestors moved in, then above or below the Himalayas, but not through. That's it.
Yep, pretty much. That's kind of what I would totally agree with that as well. I did see that Adam Davies had been out on a Mande Barung hunt. When I was watching, they just brought that up on the Finding Bigfoot episode of the UK. I got to check that out over the weekend. I'm not sure where Finding Bigfoot's going to end up after this season, but hey, who knows? I'm still watching the show. I don't know about anybody else. I hope they continue to do something out there, but they didn't find anything in the UK. They actually went and looked for the grey man of Scotland. Now, that may be one we need to look into, would be the grey man of Scotland.
Is that like the chupacabra?
It's not like the chupacabra. It's the grey man of Scotland. If it's not Scottish, it's crap.
Sorry, Bigfooters. It's crap, apparently.
Yeah, apparently that's really the kind of the way the guys thought about the UK episode. Well, guys, that's going to actually do it for us this week on the Squatchers Lounge Podcast 3. Episode 1. Guys, we really appreciate everybody watching us this week. We're sorry that the news wasn't as good as we would have liked it to have been, but unfortunately for us, we don't actually control any of that, so we'll just kind of leave it at that.
Right. We need you all to beat your head up against the wall with us in unison. Now let's go. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
That's right. Now, protest Stacy Brown Jr., don't watch any of his crap. Tell him if he invites Rick Dyer to the Skunk conference in Florida, we're all going to hang him up by his toenails. Why don't you Google Viking blood eagle? Because that's pretty much digitally what we think we ought to do to people. We're not going to stand around and let you just pull the wool over people's eyes anymore. And with that, we say thank you very much for watching the Squatchers Lounge Podcast Season 3, Episode 1. And just like Starsky and Hutch, Batdorf and Kelly are still better than crappy TV. Thanks for watching, and may the Squatch be with you.
Don't.
Dude,
Yeah.
more positive stuff next week. This really hurt my heart, man.
Do it.
I wanted to crucify him. I mean, really? Rick Dyer is a presenter? What's wrong with you?
As the week went on, it was like, Happy New Year. Oh, everything's good. And then I just got angry and angrier.
Oh. Dyer the douche. It's a sham squanch.